Tusita deva sad manusa vesum etam bhagavata varanasiyam isipatne migadaye anuttarang dhammachakram pavatitam appate vattiyam samanena va brahmanena va devena va manena va pratna va kena chiva. Hello, Dhamma friends. Wish you all the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem for a happy and peaceful Saturday evening. And the friend who joined with us from Sri Lanka, may you be having a wonderful morning with the Dharma. May this piece of Dhamma that we discuss help you develop your Sila Samadhi and Panya for enlightenment. With such blessings in mind, we are going to begin today's evening Sutta studies with a new discourse. So let me begin the Sutta studies by paying homage to the Supreme Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Please join with me. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. I pay my homage to him, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends, let me welcome you again with blessings in mind. Let us share our insight about the Dharma based on the selected discourse. I know that Saturday evening for us, it would be a busy time, but if you have dedicated your time for the Dharma, you may join and you enjoy the Dharma. And if you really want to engage with the Dhamma discussion, this kind of Sutta studies help you a lot, because we are taking the primary sources for our discussion, so that you are going to know what the Buddha said primarily about this and that, so that your knowledge would be very beneficial for you and your loved ones and everyone whom you associate with. So friends, the sutta we selected for today's focus is called Magandiya Sutta. This is the sutta number 75 in Majjhima Nikaya. If you want to go to see the sutta and read it fully, and even to refer it to later, the discourse to Magandiya, that is how the translation come. If you Google this, you will definitely get a couple of translation and some discussion online. The Magandiya Sutta is one of the beautiful discourses from Majjhima Nikaya, perhaps in the entire Tripitaka, due to many reasons. One of the reasons is how the Buddha turns someone who is totally against him at the very beginning of the discussion into a discipleship. In other words, Magandiya was not a follower of the Buddha at the very beginning of this meeting in the sutta, but the Buddha was able to make him understood about the Dharma, about the life. And the sutta itself shows that later on he was able to be a monk and attain to full enlightenment. So we find this kind of suttas in the entire Tripitaka, and That is one reason why I say this discourse is important. And at the same time, it discuss one of the factors we all should know deeply. We know that we know it, but in the practice level, we have lack of strength and understanding about it. That is about the sensual pleasures. That is about the way one use their senses, and with ignorance we create as kama chanda, kama tanha, upadan, and so forth. So that we know the fact that the Dhamma is talking about these things. I'm pretty sure that there is nothing to teach you, new about these topics, but we all need to work hard on the practice level of those important Dhamma factors. So that this sutta emphasizes a lot about the sensual pleasures, and there's a comparison between the happiness we get through sensory experiences, sensual pleasures, and the Buddha is talking about the happiness higher than that. The Buddha clearly mentioned that there is a happiness, there is a joy, there is a kind of sukha, which is better than many people experience in day-to-day life. So that we want to find it, we want to have it always. Whenever we find that type of happiness, that is away from attack from Mara, that is away from attack of ignorance, so that we would be definitely going forward. So that it's a kind of protected line, and you cross over that line so that you are safe. In this show you are not safe, but the far show, what you have is so safe, and you want to cross over that line and get into that line. Likewise, the happiness we are looking for, seeing, hearing, tasting, is lesser happiness, and the greater happiness is beyond these sensory experiences, beyond these sensual pleasures, I would say that. So this is there is a comparison between the happiness in mundane world and also super mundane kind of experience, so that this sutta is really important. If you happen to read a bit of the sutta, you know who Magandiya is. Magandiya was a wanderer, one who always wandered from place to place for debates. It doesn't mean that he left the house completely and goes from place to place, but he usually wanders for debates. He usually wanders for other things. So that is a class of people who actually enjoy their life with debating, and that is one of the section of the society during that period, and they were well respected by the society, by the administration. I think that because of the religious and spiritual agency in that society, they were respected. So Magandiya was a wanderer, and we come to know about Magandiya's meeting with Bharatwaja, one of the closest friends of Magandiya. That is happening in the first section of the sutta. Then somehow Bharatwaja, the one who actually met with Wanderer Magandiya, was a kind of friend to the Buddha also. Bharatwaja's place was a open place for mendicants, so that the Buddha, the Gautama Buddha, according to them, was there before, so that Bharatwaja knows about the Buddha. So we come to know that Swandra, talk about the Buddha with Wanderer Magandiya, and Magandiya didn't like the Buddha because, according to him, the Buddha was a destroyer of families. Because of the Buddha's way of Dhamma, a lot of people came to the order, leaving their family life, and the wives of many families, were abandoned. Maybe they were left with their children and family members, because many people came to the order as monks. So that there was a kind of accusation going on in the society that the Buddha is a destroyer of families. Then we know from the sutta that Buddha, heard about this conversation between wanderer Magandiya and the Bharatwaja at the residence of Bharatwaja through his psychic power, so that Buddha wanted to meet Magandiya. Somehow knowing that Magandiya would be able to turn into right side. Buddha never take a kind of flight to such a situation and conversation if the other party is not tamed, is not, I would say, taught something. So Buddha wanted to go and meet both Bharatwaj and Magandiya. And the conversation is going on in a dramatic way in the entire sutta. Again, this discourse is a kind of Dhammiva Katha, conversation type discourse between the Buddha and the Magandiya. So Buddha, we see from the sutta that the Buddha instruct the wanderer Magandiya with some questions. They are all about the way sensual pleasures is being addressed. Then we see the true nature of sensual pleasures is being discussed. When you go to the middle part of the sutta, you see how the Buddha turned the discussion into a very profitable one about pleasure that people appreciate as blessings, and the religious leaders, and what the Buddha think about it. The real perception about human life is being talked with the topic of sensual pleasures. If I tell you this in a short way, humans' perception is such that happiness, according to them, is somewhat they experience, somewhat they can available. So, in other words, people's perception is always is about getting something out and enjoying it, which is wrong sometimes. So it is being discussed in the sutta that the perception is distorted by the perception itself, so that Buddha is going to clear it. So we can see that discussion going on in the middle of the discourse. So Buddha talks about the happiness, the sukha, which is away from five hindrances, or the sukha we get out of five hindrances, is better than the divine pleasure. And the comparison between the human pleasure, human happiness, and also divine happiness, there is a comparison there. So Buddha's intake about sensual pleasure is very, very remarkable here. He took some examples and parables, like leper parables, and also the blind person's parable, to convince Magandiya that you are in the wrong side. And those people who talk about happiness, nirvana, good health, the best health in other religions are like blind people, because they, if you are given a colorful clothes, suppose you are blind, and you would accept the other person, what the other person says. In other words, I'm blind and you are talking about the white color of the Buddha statue behind me. So I would accept it as a white color statue just because you say it. So that's the nature of blind person. So the trust always is going on based on somebody else's experience. So Buddha compared those blind people to people who follow different faith, different views, different religion. They do not know what the nirvana is about. They do not know what the arogya, paramalabha. They do not know the best health, what it is. So then that is coming at the end of the discourse, so that Magandiya was able to actually understand how significant the Buddha is and how significant the Dharma is, and he wanted to become a monk under the Buddha's instruction. But the Buddha was rejected in the first place, because that tradition was then established that somebody who was in the other order wishes to come to the bhikkhu order, but it is not done immediately because of the nature of they have in the Dhamma. So probation period is being recommended for 4 months. But if the individual who is wishing to get ordination with so much eager, so much energy in mind, Buddha could recognize them. Of course, Buddha can read their mind, their energy, so that Buddha usually gives ordination, novice ordination and high ordination at once, so that it is been completed. So we can see the Magandiya was also taking that chance and opportunity to become a monk, and later on he became an arahant. So that Magandiya was treated in such a way because of his wisdom, because of his hidden energy. I think Buddha recognized it. So this is the quite a summary for the discourse. I kindly request you to read the entire discourse, taking time, because it is a wonderful discourse. You cannot read it with one breath. You have to have at least 1 hour to read it, because you have to think and follow the steps, remember it, and try to think about some important points about it, and then only you will have the map of the sutta in your mind as a memory. So I just want to go to the first line of the sutta. The Buddha was at the Kuru country. At that time, the Bharatwaj and Magandiya meets at the Bharatwaja's place. The Kuru country is a remarkable place in the entire Sripitaka, because some of the discourses like Mahasatipatthana, and then I can remember the other discourses he delivered from Kuru country. So like Mahasatipatthana, so people in Kuru country are very intelligent according to available sources. So Buddha was there, and Buddha was in alms round in Kuru country. Called in the Kuru country is Kuru, but the village or the township he associated at that time was Kammasadhamma. Then what happened was Wanderer Magandiya, during his walk for exercise, went to that firehouse belongs to Bharatwaja. Then Magandiya saw a grass, some layers of grass inside the firehouse, and he asked her, "To whom you have given this place?" Then the Bharatwaja said that, about the Gautama Buddha. He was really famous, and you see in the sutta that how Bharatwaja talks about the Buddha in front of Magandiya without any fear, without any hesitation. It is Itiviso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purusadhamma Sarati Satta Deva Manussanam Buddho Bhagavati, and so on. So that is how he also talk about the Buddha. In that analysis, we know Bharatwaj was a very good follower of the Buddha into a certain extent. We don't know about it. So then Magandiya quickly said that I don't like to hear about him. I know who the Gautam Buddha is. He is called the destroyer of growth or progress. So then Bharatwaja came forward and said that if you don't mind, I would tell Gautama Siddhartha, the Buddha, about your opinion, about your saying, about your statement. Then he said that I don't mind. If you want to tell it, tell it. I am saying this because it is in the text I follow. It is in the religious text I revere. So that I'm not afraid of him. Tell him that I said this. As I said earlier in the summary, Buddha was able to know this conversation through his superpowers, divine eye, and the Buddha thought that I should go there just to actually according to the Sutta's evaluation, to help not Bharatwaj, but Magandiya. We don't see Magandiya, Bharatwaj got into enlightenment here, or but it is for Magandiya's benefit. Sutta says that the Buddha was Buddha went there and sitting thus as one side, the Blessed One said this to the Brahman of Bharatwaj clan. Bharatwaj. So interesting thing happened here is that Buddha went to the firehouse of Bharatwaj, and without a word from Bharatwaj, the Buddha said that did you have a conversation with the wanderer Magandiya regarding this very grass spread? Then Bharatwaj was so surprised to hear that. I think according to the Sutta, he felt sangvega. It means kind of strange thing happened, some type of dismay arises in our mind. How could you know that? I didn't tell it to you, and I'm pretty sure that Magandiya also did not tell it to you. So it would be a reason then for Bharatwaja to be surprised, as well as having so much faith on the Buddha, because it is something beyond human skills. Then Bharatwaja said that the same thing I was thinking to tell you that about our conversation, but you were before me, and there is no indication in the Sutta that Bharatwaja asked, how did you know about it? Anyway, conversation was interrupted. Conversation was interrupted by the presence of Magandiya. Then, because I think Buddha pre-planned this because he wanted to help Magandiya, and we can see from the Sutta that Magandiya and also the Buddha had a kind of friendly conversation with regard to normal thing. Then Buddha asked the question, did you said that Magandiya, did you said that I was a destroyer of growth? So in an indirect way, then Buddha was addressing the Magandiya with the right Dhamma. I am really interested to read this. Magandiya, the I enjoys a form, delights after a form, rejoices in a form. Basic conditions are explained here. The I enjoys a form, delights after a form, rejoices in a form. But that has been tamed, watched, guarded, restrained by the Tathagata, and he teaches the Dhamma for its restraint. Was it in connection with this, Magandiya? You said the recluse Gautama is a destroyer of growth. What is the reason for this? It is handed down so in our text. So Buddha was asked, the Tathagata has been restrained. The I, which has the nature of enjoys form, which has the nature of rejoices in form. In other words, this is the very nature of seeing, or this is the very nature of I. I always enjoys whatever it sees. That's the very idea. It doesn't mean that our eyes gets all the pleasurable things always, but the very idea of human nature is to see pleasurable things. But the Tathagata, it's me is Buddha says, I have tamed, I have restrained eyes, so that indirectly it says, I do not do that. Is this the reason why you told me destroy of growth? Then Bharadwaja said, no, kindly, no, it is said in our text. Unfortunately, in my experience, I'm not a scholar on those religion at the time in depth, but I do not know any text from wanderer sect. But we know the text from Niganta. We know some text from Jains, and then we know Brahmanic text, but we do not find particular text from Bharat, wanderers. Anyhow, Magandiya says we have text, and in those texts, it is said that if somebody teaches this and that, he is going to be a destroyer of growth. So then Buddha goes on to sound, Buddha goes on to smell and taste and touch and even mind objects. So Tathagata has been completely restrained. Actually, he restrained them completely, 100%. There is no anything to restrain in the Buddha with regard to six senses. I have done this. Is this the reason why you told me? Why you call me as the destroyer of growth? For each question, he said, I said that because it is in our religious text. After this, the Buddha is talking about the true nature of sensual pleasures. Now, Buddha wanted to tell that I do not enjoy sensual pleasures whatsoever through any senses. And now he is going to tell what it is. What do you think, Magandiya? Here, someone might have previously himself enjoyed form cognizable by the eye that are wished for, desirable, agreeable, likable, connected with sensuality, arousing lust. On another occasion, having understood, according to reality, the arising and the disappearance and the gratification and the danger and the escape, and with regard to form, he abandoned, this is the case. In a simple term, there is someone who enjoys seeing. He has that pleasure. He has that lustful thoughts. He has that sensual pleasure arose through seeing. But later on, he understood, or she understood, 5 things about it. What are the 5 things? He understood that this is something that has the nature of arising and passing, and then there is a gratification, what do you call asad, and there is a danger adinava there, and the nissarana, escape with regard to form. So first he enjoyed the seeing with sensual pleasures, but later on he knew these 5 things of seeing, so that he abandoned craving for form, remove fever for form, and dwells free from thirst with his mind inwardly still. Whenever you come to understand that seeing, what I see, what I have already seen, what I see now, what I am going to see in the future, that has the rising and passing, and it has some pleasure, of course, but there is a danger of it, and so you escape from that lust, that sensual pleasure. So you are going to have some internal peace. In other words, what the Buddha is talking about, being able to attain the jhanic experience. Because if you are not having sensual pleasures in your mind, you are going to lose the other hindrances from your mind also. In that way, you are entering into jhanic experiences, so that your mind inwardly still. What do you say of such a person, Magandiya? Magandiya say nothing, because he doesn't understand that. He doesn't understand what the Buddha is talking about, because he did not experience such things before. So the Magandiya frankly said that I don't have anything to say, I don't know. Then the Buddha was going to tell Magandiya, that particular person experiences sensual pleasure by hearing, by listening. First he enjoyed it, but later on he came to know those 5 things rising and disappearance, gratification, danger, and escape. This Upada Vaya, and then what do you call Upada Vaya, Asad, Adinu, and Nissara. These are the 5 things we all need to work through in any sensory experiences. We know that this is arising and this is going to end. And in between there is, of course, kind of aswad, gratification, but the danger is there when the gratification is gone, something else, negative, something negative is coming, and we are putting ourselves into suffering, so that we are going to escape from enjoying that satisfaction from seeing, hearing, tasting. So each time Magandiya say, no, I don't know. There is nothing to say for Magandiya because he doesn't know. So the Buddha goes on to each senses and sensory experiences and asking, do you know this? Do you know that? That there is a particular person. First he enjoyed, later on he understood this and that, so escaped from this. Then at last of that section, Buddha said, Buddha said about his own story before he attained to enlightenment. Magandiya, in the past, while I lived the home life, I myself enjoyed, provided with, attended by form that are wished for, desirable, agreeable, likable, connected with sensuality, rousing lust. Likewise, I enjoyed sound, smell, taste, touch, and even, I enjoyed my mind and so on. In this section, Buddha talks about his own story as the Prince Siddhartha. We did not see that the Buddha is taking a previous life of the Bodhisattva and talked in details. He had enough experiences of his own life as the Prince Siddhartha to talk, because he said in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, I did this Kamasukhallikkhana Yoga into the highest extent and knew that it is very useless, futile, Anatta Sanghita, and so forth. So same thing here is being said, that I enjoyed all these sensual pleasures very much, pleasure, but on the other occasion, having understood, he continued, on the another occasion, having understood according to reality the arising and the disappearance and the gratification and the danger and the escape with regard to sensual pleasures, I have abandoned sensual lust. So now, when and where he did that? That's a question we all should ask from us. You know what? Being the Prince Siddhartha, before he left the palace, he fed up with sensual pleasures at some point of his decision. That's why he was able to actually concluded the whole analysis that this princely life with my wife, with my newly born child, and the kinship, I'm not going to get anything. If I experience old age like others, if I'm going to be sick like others, if I'm going to die like others, what is the purpose of these sensual pleasures? So if you go down further, he was telling this. Magandiya, I had 3 mansions. This is one of the places he's been talking about. So some people asked whether Bante these places in India or in Nepal are true. Whether these information about palaces are true or not. This is one of the discourses that tells us that the Buddha, Prince Siddhartha, lived in 3 palaces with regard to 3 seasons. He said, for the hot season, for the cold season, and for the rainy season, I was, I was in 3 palaces. During that, one season is 4 months, so that the Buddha said, sometime I did not even come to downstairs from upstairs for a long period of time, and I enjoyed sensual pleasures only with female. So, Buddha wanted to tell how he enjoyed his lay life with those, women and also other facilities in the mansion, and did not come down to the ground floor of the mansion during those months. So Buddha told everything he did in a short version. Then he said, I understood the nature of arising and passing and gratification and danger and escape, and I did escape from those things. At the time, he actually decided to go to homelessness. Having abandoned those things, I find that still mind, I find that peaceful mind, and it is beyond sensual pleasures. I see, but however, I see other beings who are not free from the lust for sensual pleasures, consumed by craving for sensual pleasures, burning with the fever for sensual pleasures, indulging in sensual pleasures. So, Buddha talks about other beings who have sensual pleasures while he was moved from it. But neither do I envy them, nor do I delay. Because Buddha had an idea that Magandiya was envious with the Buddha. Magandiya said that statement, destroyer of progress. So he thought that Buddha is talking about leaving from sensual pleasures, craving and so forth, just because he has a kind of arrogant mind. He has a kind of angry mind about those people who enjoy sensual pleasures. So there, Buddha wanted to tell that, who are you? I, as a prince, experience those things into highest extent. Nobody tell me to come. It is me who decided myself to leave everything apart. So that Buddha wanted to tell that Buddha wanted to tell Magandhi that I do not have any envy, any grudges in my mind for those people who enjoy sensual pleasures in every means, because I knew it is not futile, it is not it is not important. So why do I envy for something I already left? What is the reason for this? With the continue, because Magandiya, there is a delight other than sensual pleasure, other than unwholesome state, which surpasses evenly heavenly joy. But I have attained, dwell in heavenly joy, and delighting in that, neither do I envy for what is low, inferior, not delight therein. So I have experienced a kind of happiness way better than a lot of people enjoy. So why? So it is even beyond divine. It is Buddha needed to talk about the pleasure he knows in the way Magandiya understands, so that he said it is quite similar to divine. Otherwise, the divine pleasure is nothing, but the jhanic experience is very, very important. It is higher than in my understanding, the divine pleasure. Then Buddha takes a parable here. Tavatinsa Deva put a parable. Suppose Magandiya, there is a householder or householder's son who is rich with much wealth and much property. He enjoyed form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and even his ideas. And having conducted himself well by way of the body, by way of speech, by way of mind after death, give me a second. So having enjoyed them after death, he is going to reborn in divine pleasure. Suppose there is a person, average person, he put the text into a variable, and he enjoyed his life as much as he could, and after that he reborn in a divine existence. Okay. Now it is said this person reborn in Tusita divine world. So then there is a park called Nandana Grove, and he was surrounded by angels, nymphs, and now he is having chord of divine sensual pleasures. Earlier he was enjoying human sensual pleasures. Now he is experiencing divine sensual pleasures. What do you think, Magandhi? If that Devaputra in the Nandana grove, surrounded by a host of heavenly nymphs, were to see a householder son enjoying, provided with and attended by 5 code of human sensual pleasure, would be. Now the question the Buddha asked from Magandiya. So now that divine being experienced divine 5 code of divine sensual pleasures. So he saw human experience their sensual pleasures. The question is, does this divine being is envious about human when human experiences their sensual pleasures? Why? Does this divine being has that kind of feeling? No, it is quite, friends, suppose you have gone to many places in the world, right? All the beautiful, famous, important places, naturally, geographically, historically, and other ways, you have been to each kind of places. Suppose you come to know that some of your friends go to another simple place. Do you think that they are do you have envious thought about it? Do you have jealousy about them? No, because we have gone to many places now. Likewise, that divine being never ever create any jealousy in his mind about those humans, because the divine pleasure is much better than the human pleasure. Yeah, so no, indeed, Master Gautama. What is the reason for this? Because heavenly sense pleasure are more excellent, more delightful than human sense pleasure. So Magandhi answered, no, divine pleasure is much better than. Likewise, even so, Magandhi, in the past, I lived home life with so many things, and now I experience something better, something more beyond, even in incomparable state, so that I never ever feel jealous about those people who enjoy sensual pleasure, but I have compassion for them. That's something else. But Buddha says categorically that I do not have any envious feeling about those people. So now we see a very important parable in the discourse, the parable of the healed leper. You all know who that patient is. This is how the Buddha started it. Suppose Magandiya, there were a leper, his limbs festering with sores, all rotting away, devoured by worms, scratching the scraps of the sores, opening with his nails, and searching his body over a pit of blazing coal. So it's always itchy, and you feel that scratching always when you have those wounds. So now some of your friends and relatives come and help you, even by force, holding the person by both hands. You are nearly putting into a coal, very blazing, very hot. So now you feel better because you feel the scratching. Now it's your skin is burning, and you feel a kind of release from the pain, because something similar to the pain is always going through with the fire. Then he might see. So let me see. This is a kind of things he has. Later on, your relatives, friends, come with a doctor or a surgeon and treat that particular person with medicine. So on account of that medicine, he is going to heal the leprosy, and later he become well, he become away from the problem. Then another one, this particular person who had the leprosy, comes out of it because of the medicine, and later on he sees another person who has the leprosy. And then Buddha asked, what do you think, Magandiya? The person who cured from leprosy now sees another similar kind of patient. And what do you think, Magandiya? Would that man envy that leper for his pit of burning coal and his problem? The first one now is having envious feeling or jealousy feeling about the first one, because the second person is having that treatment with fire. Do you think that the first one is having envious feeling? Magandhi said, not at all, Master Gautam. Why? Master Gautam, when there is an illness, there is a need for medicine. And when there is no illness, there is no need for medicine. So now the first person is not having any problem with leprosy, so that he doesn't need any medicine. So that when the second person is taking medication for leprosy, he is not going to envy about it, because he has no need for medicine. Likewise, Magandiya, I experienced sensual pleasure up to the highest when I was at the palace, so that I do not, now I have another pleasure which is way beyond this, so I do not have envy about it when people experience sensual pleasures. So then again we have a parable of the same healed leper, but when the person is in pain. Suppose Magandiya, there were a leper, his limb, same information. So his this patient's relatives later on provided with a doctor and also medicine. After taking medication, he healed from the problem. Now he's free from leprosy. So now, having been away from the problem, still two people who are stronger came and take this person into charcoal, blazing charcoal feet. So the Buddha asked the question from Magandiya, wouldn't that man twist and turn his body about? Now he doesn't have any problem with the leprosy, but two people came and took him into the blazing charcoal pit. Now he doesn't want it, he doesn't like it. So that wouldn't that man twist his body this way and that way to get out of it? Yes, Venerable Master Gautama. Why is that? Because the Master Gautama, the fire is truly painful to the touch, terribly hot, and so on. What do you think, Magandiya? Is it only now that the fire truly painful to the touch, terribly hot, greatly scorching, or in the past too the fire was painful to the to touch or and so on? The Buddha asked a very nice question. Is the fire hot and scorching even now? Even only now? Wasn't it hot and warm and scorching in the past? Then Master Gautama, the fire is always like that. It's so painful to touch. It's so dangerous and so forth. For when the leper, his limb has all these problems, he assumed the perception. This is the case. Opening with so that he thought the fire was truly painful to the touch. I missed one part. So when the leper was having that problem and he was taken to the fire, then he felt that this is really good, because he had a pain in his body. That fire made him to kind of release from that pain temporarily. What was happening there? He assumed the perverse perception, wrong perception, that it is pleasant, that it is to say because of scorching the source opening. So the leper was in the wrong perception that this is good just because of the scorching feeling of his leg, of his body. Otherwise, it was burning even at that time. Even so, Magandiya, even throughout the distant past, sensual pleasures are truly painful to touch, terribly hot, greatly scorching, and the future, and even in the present moment. Sensual pleasure is always dangerous. It was in the past, it was dangerous in the past, it was terrible in the past, it will be terrible, dangerous in the future also for everyone, and it is dangerous and painful and scorching even right now. The Buddha said, uh, um, I think we have covered half of the discourse. So Buddha, right after, talk about the same parable to give a kind of different idea. So suppose the one who has healed from the heel of the leprosy is still taken to the fireplace. Now this man doesn't like it because he doesn't want that. It is painful for him. Likewise, Magandiya, the person who had the problem need it, but the person who doesn't want it definitely never enjoyed it. So the Buddha wanted to tell again that sensual pleasure was a kind of enjoyable feeling for people who had wrong perception about it. In other words, if you think that sensual pleasure is the best thing, that is your wrong perception. That is the distorted perception. From Vipalyasa, we know from clearly that we think that those impermanent things are considered as permanent, which is the wrong perception, wrong ditti, and your mind is going to be totally wrong. So likewise, things are subject to suffering. Things are subject to unattractive. Things are subject to non-self, are considered by many people, many living beings, as not, so that they have wrong perception, distorted perception. So that person who now don't like fire when he is not having leprosy thinks that it is dangerous. But even before that, when he had the problem, he was taken to the fire, he liked it. At that time he thought that the fire is good, but it is wrong perception. So now Buddha wanted to tell that the sensual pleasure is sensual pleasure always for everybody, and it was and it is and it will be dangerous for everyone. If we understand in this way, our perception is going to be upright and wholesome. So that the Buddha wanted to tell here the fact that sensual pleasure should be understood with the right perception. I should stop from here because of the time constraint, but the sutta has so many good things right after. I would jump a little bit to the lower part of the later part of the discourse. So at some point of this conversation about sensual pleasures, the Buddha tell this stanza, which you know some from different sources. What is that? Arogya paramalabha nibbanang paramang sukhang attangikocha magganang kemang amata gaminanti. The meaning, health is the highest gain, the nirvana the highest bliss, and of the eightfold path is the highest way, and the supreme security is the security is the debt-free moment. Kemang amatagaminang. If you actually attain to enlightenment, there is no death. So that is the supreme security. When this was said by the Buddha, Magandiya still being in the same mindset, I would say, said that it is marvelous, it is wonderful, sir. You said it very nice way. You know what, Gautama, Siddhartha, that term is there still. He is not respectful yet. He is not believing the Buddha is right. That's why he uses those names for the Buddha. We too, Master Gautama, have heard this being said by the lineage of teachers of the wanderers. That is to say, the health is the highest nirvana, the highest blessing, and so forth. Then, Buddha said, but Magandiya, as regard to what you have heard being said by the lineage of teachers of wanderer, that is to say. So, Magandiya was speechless. At the end, Magandiya said that Buddha said that, could you please tell me what is nirvana, as said in your lineage of teachers? Could you please tell me what is the best health? As your teacher says. When this was spoken, the wanderer Magandiya rubbed his own limbs with his hands and said, "This is that health, Master Gautama. This is that nirvana. For I, Master Gautama, now I am healthy and I am happy. Nothing afflicted me." So the Magandiya was trying to convince the Buddha that I have no physical problem at all now, so I am healthy. Then in the next section, Buddha talk about the blind person. So if you give a white cloth to blind person and tell that this is white, but it is not white. It is something else. So the blind person cannot reject it because he doesn't see. He would tell other people that I am having taken that, let's say blue cloth with the perception as white. He tells other people that I am wearing a white cloth. So we know that everybody knows that it is blue. Those people who have eyesight know that it is blue, but the blind person, believing his friends false information, he tells others that this is white. I'm wearing white clothes. So Magandiya, likewise, wanderers of other sect are blind. Buddha was not afraid telling truth to Magandiya in front of him. You are, in a direct way, you are blind. You do not know what is sensual pleasure. You do not know the pleasure beyond and above sensual pleasure. You do not know anything about like that. So wanderers talk about the best health. Wanderers talk about the nirvana. They are only hearsay. They are only words. But you really do not know. Other people who talk about the same thing I talk about are like blind people. So so you do not know these terms. So Buddha took that blind person parable there to convince Magandiya about his nature. Now, Magandiya says, I have confidence in Master Gautama. Still, he used Master Gautama. If you go through the Tripitaka on some discourses, the people who talk about, call the Buddha Master Gautama, usually do not have Shraddha on the Buddha. No confidence. If they have confidence, they would use Bhagava or Blessed One or whatever words. Here still he says, I have confidence in Master Gautama. Thus, Master Gautama is capable of showing me the Dharma by which I would now know health, would see Nirvana. Then Buddha said, again, blind parable, with a different way, in a different way. Suppose there were a man blind from birth and he could not see anything. So later on, his relatives consulted a doctor who can treat the blindness. So when that person takes medication, his eyesight is not restored. His vision doesn't come. What do you think, Magandhi? Wouldn't that doctor feel his share of weariness and trouble? So there is a blind person, and the relatives brought a doctor who can treat it, and the doctor treated, but eyesight is not coming. Isn't that doctor becoming exhausted? Yes, definitely, because there is no possibility of taking eyesight of a blind person. So likewise, Magandiya, I'm going to be exhausted in teaching Dharma to you because you are like a blind person. How nice the Buddha when he said this. So because Buddha saw now, Buddha sees Magandiya still is not convinced. Though he said that I have confidence. This is the saying he said, I have confidence in Master Gautama. That Master Gautama is capable of showing me the Dharma by which I would know health, would see Nirvana. It sounds like he has confidence about the Buddha, that the Buddha teach me what is good health and what is Nirvana. It doesn't mean that he himself understood the Buddha and the Dharma from his experience. He has confidence that the Buddha could tell something. So that's why Buddha said that that doctor is treating the blind person to take his vision, but what is happening at the end? Only weariness, only tiredness. The doctor gets only this, but not the vision. Even so, Magandhi, if I were to teach the Dharma about supreme health and about Nirvana to people like you, I would experience only tiredness. Then the Magandhi said, again, I have confidence about the Buddha. Same thing is uttered. Then Magandhi, Buddha said, suppose that blind person again, who could not see anything. So later, he got an excellent doctor. He might hear a man with good eyes saying excellent indeed. So it's a white clothes and so forth. Then let me read that part. Yeah, there is a blind person, and another person talks about a white cloth, blind person, and another person is talking about a white cloth, and then the blind person relatives brought a doctor who could heal his eyesight, and later on he get his eyesight because of medicine. So after after restoring eyesight, after getting eyesight back, he comes to know that his friends who talk about white clothes have given him not white clothes. So earlier in the story, the blind person is fooled by his friends about those white clothes. I was interrupted by something. So let me tell it again. Earlier, the blind person was fooled by his friends giving him a blue color cloth. Actually, it is a white cloth, or vice versa. Right now, he got the eyesight with the doctor's treatment, and he comes to know that his friends fooled him. His friends fooled him. So then, what this person who got the eyesight might think? Oh my goodness, long time I was blinded about the colors. I was fooled by. Likewise, Magandiya. So those people who were in other sects were fooled by their own mind, ignorance. Now he comes to know that he was fooled by different teaching, different dogmas, different things, and his mind itself. So there he now come to know. And even so, Magandhi, if I were to teach you the Dharma, this is the good health, this is the supreme Nibbana, you might know health, you might sin. Now, according to the Sutta, Buddha came to know about Magandiya's confidence. Now, Magandiya's confidence about the Buddha, about the Dharma is slowly building. That's why he said that if that blind person is able to find a better doctor who can cure the blindness, it happens so that the blind person is going to know that he was fooled by previous friends, relatives, and so forth. That's the parable. So now we come to the right story. So you and everybody else who follow different ideas, different religions, come to know that you were blinded by your own dogmas, texts, and so forth, because the doctor who could tell you the right thing is here. It is the Buddha. So that Buddha is talking about now Dharma. Magandiya said that, my Sutta was gone. Okay. Give me a second. So now Buddha is talking about the real Dhamma, which is necessary for Magandiya. Buddha said here, along with the rising of your vision, your desire and lust for the 5 aggregates of clinging might be abandoned. Then this might occur to you. So if you have right vision, definitely you will see the 5 aggregates of clinging as they are, so that you are going to abandon the attachment to 5 aggregates or clinging to 5 aggregates. Indeed, I have long been tricked, cheated, and fooled by this mind. For when clinging, I have been clinging merely to form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. So when you have right vision, you are going to know that you were fooled by or cheated by clinging to form, feeling, perception, and mental formation and consciousness. In other words, when you are having samadhi, when you have yoniso manasikara well placed in your thinking, you are going to know that nobody else nobody else fooled you, but the 5 aggregates of clinging. Attachment fooled you many years in your life. So you are going to know that nobody else did that, but the very attachment to 5 aggregates of clinging. So that's what you are going to understand. With that clinging of mind as condition, there would be existence. Conditioned by existence, there would be birth. Conditioned by birth, there would be decay and death, sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair would come to be. Such would be the rising of this whole mass of suffering. So you are going to conclude that I was fooled by the attachment or clinging to 5 aggregates for a long time. Because of this attachment, I was in idea that these things are mine and this is me, so that I was in the bhavatanha. I was in all these problematic situation, and I was really in suffering because I was fooled by the clinging to 5 aggregates. It means ignorance or avidya and tanha and upadana played a vital role in my perception, in my thinking earlier, because I did not have that vision. Magandiya is talking about, now I have confidence about you, Venerable Sir. You are going to teach me the right thing. I know that you are teaching me the right thing. I know that you are going to make me understood about what the best health, what the nirvana is. In that case, Magandiya, this is very important. Even though the time is 9:10, I would finish this. In that case, Magandiya, now Buddha knew that Magandiya is ready with his mind, with his intention. His mind has been now turned into a certain, malleable, certain, mental state where could be restrained. So that Buddha continues. in that case, Magandiya, associate with true Kalyana Mitra. When you, Magandiya, associate with Kalyana Mitra, you are going to hear the true Dhamma, noble Dhamma. When you, Magandiya, hear the noble Dhamma through Kalyana Mitra, you would practice the right Dhamma in associating with right Dhamma. When you practice the Dhamma in accordance with the Dharma, Magandiya, you will truly know for yourself, you will see for yourself. You are going to be Janatu and Pasato. See how the Buddha said, first and foremost, if you want to go from here, associate Kalyanamita. When you associate Kalyanamita, you are going to hear the right Dhamma from them. And having heard the right Dhamma from them, you are going to practice it. And when you practice it, you are going to know yourself and you are going to see it yourself about the five aggregates, about everything. You will truly know for yourself, you will see for yourself thus. These are the illnesses, tumors, darts. Here the illness, tumors, and darts end with reminder. With the ending of my clinging for that, there is this cessation of existence. With the ending of existence, there is the cessation of birth. With the ending of birth, there end decay and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and all kind of suffering. Such indeed is the ending of this whole mass of suffering. So now we see the conversation going on from from this level to next level. When this was said, the wanderer Magandiya said to the Buddha, marvelous master. Now we clearly see that the turnout of Magandiya, marvelous venerables, marvelous master Gautama, just as one were to place upright what had to be overturned, and were to be revealed what was hidden, were to show the way to one who was lost, and so forth. In the same way, Venerable Sir, in a numerous way, you taught me the Dhamma. Dhamma being made clear by the Master Gautama, the Blessed One, so that I go to the Supreme Buddha, the Blessed One, for refuge. I go to the Dhamma for refuge. I go to the community of Sangha for refuge. There Buddha said, having said that, so some people stop there after taking 3 refuges, but Master Magandiya goes further. May I receive the going forth before Master Gautam Venerable Sir, may I receive the ordinary. He tells it twice. Then Magandiya, Buddha said, anyone who was previously a follower of an outside teaching and wishes to go forth in this Dhamma and Vinaya, he has to go on a probation of 4 months. And if during that 4 months period is being used by the newcomer satisfactorily, and if the Sangha of bhikkhus and bhikkhunis are in the happy mood about the newcomer, then only we are going to ordain. But Magandiya said here, it's not only 4 months, even for 4 years, even more than that, I would stay under the perusal of Bhikkhu Sangha and or Bhikkhuni Sangha, whatever order. I would even wait for such period if I get the novice ordination and full ordination from the Buddha. When somebody tells this kind of things, Buddha clearly know that this man, this woman, this upasika is going to really get the training with so much strength. So that the Buddha gave the novice ordination and also high ordination together at once. And then now Wanderer Magandiya is called a bhikkhu, Bhikkhu Magandi. Not long after being ordained, the Venerable Magandiya, dwelling alone, aloof, diligent, and resolute, he attained to full enlightenment. Directly, he came to know Now, what is the full enlightenment? When somebody attains full enlightenment, there is a kind of understanding coming in, and it is said like this: directly new, birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived, done what had to be done, there is no more of this state of being. And the Venerable Magandiya became one of the Arhat. So that is the last word of the Magandiya Sutta, Sutta number 75 in the Majjhima Nikaya. So friends, that is the Sutta reading. And now we can have a few minutes for any questions, any additions, any comments. I'm sorry for taking 1 hour and 15 minutes directly to cover the Sutta. So I can see Dr. Pial has raised his hand. Please take your time, Doctor.
It's interesting. This sutra. There was another Magandiya character woman, also the same name. I think the same name. She was very conceited because of beauty, and there was another story. Anyway, that's on the side, but just important to see
Yeah, they are relatives. Commentary
okay.
says that this Magandiya has a connection with the Magandiya father of the woman's father is also called Magandiya. So they were relatives. Unfortunately, when the Buddha talks about the nature of Magandiya's woman Magandiya's body, he got upset.
Yeah.
So when he kept that particular idea in her mind for a long time, and when he got married to a non-Buddhist king-like person, he had the opportunity to revenge.
Yes.
Not for the Buddha, but followers of the Buddha, including Sama. Yeah, they were relatives.
Bante, the question is now Buddha offers something better than the sensual, the 5 chords or the 6 6 chords of sensual pleasures, if you want to call it here, and he says something better than this. So he I think offers jhana, or he offers here, he means maybe nibbana, like nibbanam paramam sukham. What does he really mean here? Like maybe
first Buddha wanted to make Magandiya sense that the happiness you are talking about in your order is nothing but the sensual pleasure, because they actually did not know about nirogi sukha or nirvana. They were just talking about something beyond their experience, so that what you are talking about is nothing. It could only be compared to something people experience, something people already know. But with actually I escaped that part. There is a line in the sutta that the Buddha talks about these terms like nibbana sukha and paramasukha. They were misused by the people, society, for something never represented by these words. He tells that in the sutta.
So he didn't understand. So he was not very clear. So Magandiya, I think Buddha took a lot of time. I mean, he was such a compassionate being. You can see how trouble he took to him to understand this Dhamma. He knew he could get it, but he sometimes put some reverse psychology. So I don't want to teach you. You're blind. Just go away. But then again, Magandiya, no. I have faith in you. So I think he tries different ways to open his eyes this stage. So the question I had is, like, when you say Arogya Paramalabha, Magadya misunderstood. He thought it was the bodily, like he's healthy in his body. When Buddha say Arogya Paramalabha, I think it comes in the Dhammapada too. Is it Arogya, meaning the mental Arogya Paramalabha, the mental health? I don't think it's a bodily health, because the body Buddha talks about is decaying, get old age, they die. I don't think Buddha is too much concerned about the bodily health. I think he's talking about is the mental health. The most of the time, people get this idea, Arogya Paramalabha, thinking of the bodily health. Does he mean mental health here, in your understanding?
Indeed, yeah, for 100% sure. The Buddha is talking about mental health, because the Buddha has talked about, if a person thinks that he's healthy with this fathom long body, even for a 1 minute, he's going to be a fool. Right?
Yes.
So in this body, suppose taking breath in and releasing it, it happens naturally, but it is also a task to be done. And urinating, defecating, eating, drinking, they are all hard work actually. How could this body could be called a healthy, very nice body? Because if this body doesn't get these very important requirement, it's going to collapse, right? So Buddha asks us to think that, if a person thinks that this body is so healthy, it is an statement. It is a statement of a fool.
Yeah. So they say
I cannot remember the exact discourse he said. He talks about it, but
also it's called about intoxication with health. Also intoxication.
Nirogi mother, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So definitely it is. He is talking about the mental health.
Mental health. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but we have categories of mental health also. When you go into jhana, that mental health is not stable. So you may come back to sensual pleasures again and so it's a temporary place where you have the vision of perfect health.
Pleasant abiding, but it's temporary, hiding.
Temporary. So
it's better than what?
Yeah, but it is better than sensual pleasure, definitely.
Yeah. Bante, other thing, yeah. So it is a temporary abiding, but still we need to pass that samadhi before getting into the inside. I guess, right? The other thing I was talking about the eye. He took this example of eye. Is it maybe I think I'm thinking too much? Maybe Dhammachakku. Maybe that's why he said like
No, true. It is Dhammachakku, definitely.
Okay, maybe that's why he talks about the 5 aggregates. So maybe it is the code word for Sotapanna. So he talks about aggregates of clinging. So this Sakayaditi, like the first stage of enlightenment, I guess, gained through seeing this clinging to 5 aggregates cause our suffering, but not that you have all the way gone through it to but at least the initial part is the breakthrough of the Dhammachakku, the Chakkumudapadi. Maybe, I mean, he's also got a simile also about the real eye, but maybe he's talking about the Dhammachakku also. Maybe.
Yeah, that's true, because the level of 5 aggregates, Buddha talk there is with regard to Yodiso Manasikara Samadhiti, definitely it is Dhammachakku Udapadi. Okay. So otherwise you don't talk about the aggregates in such a way. So if somebody sees the 5 aggregates with clinging, he must be passing, he must have passed all these other primary things. That's why he's having this idea that this is 5 aggregate, this is how it happens, and this is how it is going to end, and so on. So you are knocking the door of either Sotapanna or any other stages of enlightened when you really address those 5 aggregates. So it's called Dhammachakku. Yes, could be could be understood in that way too.
Thank you. I'll give others chance.
Let's see whether other talks people like to hear and personally and individually summarize them. If you do not have any more concern and question and addition, I would end today's session. It's close to 9:25 p.m. So this is Magandiya Sutta. We tried our best to address all the important Dhamma aspect of Magandiya Sutta, but I recommend you to read it personally, slowly, keeping a couple of translation so that you would understand the Magandiya Sutta well. Perhaps you would have that practice while you are reading very much. So maybe you are enjoying it very much. Maybe you would be able to get yourself closer to some very nice experiences too. So that my recommendation is always to take the sutta and read it and make notes of it. Keep a very nice statement in piece of papers and appear them as the way you can see in a different time and space, so that you will definitely become a very good practitioner with the knowledge you are having. So with that in mind, we are going to go. I just want to inform you about the Katina, offerings starting from 28 for a month. Our temple is going to have Katina, robe offering on 29. Before that, we are going to have chanting on the previous date, which means next Saturday. So I may not be able to come and do this Sutta studies for next week. After next week, I will be in Mississauga for another Katina, two actually Katina in the first week of November. And then I will be going to Halifax for their Katina. And next week I will be going to, then I think November 18, I would be able to do the Sutta studies, because in that weekend, I will be at the Mississauga temple for one-day meditation program on Saturday. At night, I will be able to do. So for the moment, I can say that I will be seeing you after 3 weeks, which is November 18. It is a tentative. I'm telling it in a tentative way because we do not know what would happen to us. Anyway, friends, you will be engaging with many wonderful meritorious deeds during this period, and you know how to reflect the Dhamma. You have learned a lot about the Dhamma, so that you can do many things on your own. And if you come to know something new, something interesting, don't feel don't feel free to share with them, with others, with us, so that we all come, stay in Dhamma framework for us to experience something extraordinary. So I wish you good health and peace of mind, arogya paramalabha. That is the best health you have, best wealth you have, and may you be able to achieve nirvana, nibbana, paraman sukhang by following the right Dhamma. With that in mind, we are going to into this discussion. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.